Good evening and welcome to the penultimate Pink 'Un Show live this season, your hour of dedicated Norwich City programming that definitely won't be looking for a new club over the summer. We are live right now on YouTube and on Mustard TV in Norwich to round up all the latest Canaries talking points, especially that not quite so magnificent 7 to be jettisoned from the club. We'll get your views in Talk is Cheap and look ahead to the final weekend of Championship football this season. Here in the studio alongside me is the best pundit this side of Swaffham, City Hall of Famer, Darren Eadie.
I'm glad you said that, because there's no transfer rumours about this little partnership going on.
Not
People
yet.
moving on.
I'm worried about your agent. The same. As well as our helping hands of Mustard TV favourite, Phil Arms, and City fan, Robson Summers. And as I mentioned, and you will find out over the next hour, tonight's show is live. So you can get in touch with this very phone, which is here. I'm supposed to show that up now. There we go. All you need to do is post your comments and questions in the live chat on the YouTube. And you could send us tweets, including the handle @Pink'Un, or give us a bell. The number is 01603 63 0006. Right, let's get going with this week's headlines. Heaven sent, more like 7 cent. Packing! Yusuf Malumbu, Kyle Lafferty, Michael Turner, Sebastian Versong, Stephen Whittaker, Ryan Bennett, John Ruddy. Those are the 7 players that City will release this summer. That's a huge chunk of wages saved and a lot of bodies to replace in the next transfer window. But then we were expecting that, weren't we? It's on deck and Harry. It's on deck and... It works. It doesn't work. Tom, on... No, boo, I'm getting booed. At least there were 2 players that could take in some good news this week, with Harry Toffolo and Declan Rudd set to return to Carrow Road following seasons away on loan. They will get another year to prove themselves, assuming they're not sold in the meantime, I guess. Steve's free to do what he wants any old time. I said love you, etc. Well, that was according to The Sun. Don't look at me like that. The Sun this morning, with the big rumour doing the rounds that all £7 million of Stephen Naismith would be allowed to leave for free this summer if a club wants him and can afford his wages. If they saw his goal at Leeds, they'd be straight in. If they caught his red card like Naismith caught Ronaldo Vieira, mind you, the rumour has since been rubbished somewhat by new Norwich City spokesman and good lad, Nick Masheter. Leeds are so overrated. I mean, City proved how good they were by racing into a 3-goal lead at Leeds. Nelson Oliveira hit double figures for the season. Norwich were in control. What more was there to prove? Norwich only let Leeds draw because they were so in charge. Just like City could have gone up if they wanted to, and like Leeds, who really did want to. And finally, the Wevolution will not be televised. Yes. The season ends on Sunday with QPR's visit to Carrow Road, a game with no championship issues riding on it, a chance to say some goodbyes and au revoir. And then we will all return. We might actually know by then who City's new head coach is going to be. Who's your money on? Tell us tonight. Darren, Phil, Robson, thank you so much for coming in. How are we all? We all well?
Pretty good, yeah.
Good. Looking fresh-faced, all of us, which is good considering it's been a long season, Darren.
Long week.
Long
Yeah, it has been a bit like that. It's summed up in one game again. How many times this season that the Norwich have kind of looked like they're going to be competitive and do everything we expected them to do and then capitulate near the end of a game.
Absolutely nailed it in terms of their season. Not the big news though, really. We can almost put the game to one side for a bit. 7 players out confirmed. The retained list, as we would normally call it, I guess, it normally comes sort of after the season has ended. They've got it in early. In a way, it gives those players a chance to say goodbye.
It's a real interesting one. I mean, 6 of the names on the list, I think we could have all written down beforehand, but I think John Ruddy was a real unexpected one. I mean, yeah, he's a big wage earner, and there's got to be more behind that. But what happens on Sunday? Who's going to be between the sticks on Sunday? And if it is John Ruddy, how are the crowd going to react? Are they going to react for John against the club, or for the club against John, or are they just going to say, thanks very much, away you go, son?
Yeah, I think it'll be that way. I think he's earned the respect from the Norwich City fans. He's been a fantastic servant to the club and totally deserves the send-off he will get, and I believe he will play. and he deserves everything he gets from the fans, because he'll get a great applause.
That's exactly right, isn't it, Robson? Because the guy joined when Norwich were in just into the Championship, wasn't it? Because Fraser Forster helped take them up to.
I think I'll get a good reaction from the fans. I'll give him a good reaction. He's done well at this club for the past few seasons. I think it was a shock for me personally, because I think with how good he has been over the last few games, him now leaving at the end of the season is something that I think we have to replace with some standard goalkeeping.
It's got absolutely nothing to do with his ability. Quite honestly, it's literally getting him off the wage bill.
He's the best goalkeeper at the club, isn't he?
Yeah,
without doubt.
yes. So I think it is literally the wage bill of reducing that. And to be fair, Norwich has always had good goalkeepers. Declan Rudd, I think, has been unfortunate and come into a side that's had a defence that's been poor in front of him. I think he's a good goalkeeper. So I don't think there's any problem.
And Declan Rudd will now get his possibly get his chance. I mean, he hasn't really had a chance at Championship level.
No, he played in the Premier League.
And that was it, really.
But will Declan Rudd get his chance? I mean, Paul Jones is still here, and we haven't seen anything of him as such. Will he go? Will he stay? What's going to happen to Michael McGovern, the man with lots of stopping ability but no presence as such within that area? So are they going to offload him? I guess he's on a reasonable wage because he's come in fairly recently. So what's going to happen there? And the other side of all this is, if you've got all those goalkeepers on your books, do you ship them all out and start afresh? I can't see Declan. I actually only see Declan coming in as a number 2 again.
We'll get back onto this in Talk is Cheap almost certainly, but let's rattle through some of the others, shall we? Stephen Whittaker, he's off. I like Stephen Whittaker. I think he's technically a great player, but he's had a lot of stick. Harry Toffolo is staying, though, so they're losing a left-back, stroke right-back, prefers to be right-back. Actually going to have a left-back on the books in Harry Toffolo.
Well, I think we should just be a little bit careful. And of course, we all know Webber knows what he's doing, and he's probably plans afoot already in terms of who they want to bring in. I would be surprised if the recruitment hasn't already started in terms of speaking to people they want to recruit. So, you don't want to Basson going, Whittaker going, Dyke's likely not to be here, Ryan Bennett going. There's 4 defenders, and we've only got 6.
Well, but this is it, and it brings me nicely on to the centre-backs, because everyone says John Ruddy was a surprise. I kind of saw that one coming. Ryan Bennett, for me,
yeah,
I know
me too.
I know his shortcomings, but the fact is Norwich already getting rid of Basson and Turner. We don't know if Tim Close is going to be here next season. To lose a third centre back as well, it just adds to the rebuilding job, surely, Robson. I
think Ryan Bennett was a shock as well, but I think we do need to get some new defenders in, because they've been the same over the past few seasons. There's been no change apart from Pinto and Dykes and Close, but we still have Martin. Obviously, Basson's now going, Bennett's now going as well. But we need to change the defence, get some new fresh faces in there. Because I think if you put Russell Martin as in the centre back with good defenders around him, he's a brilliant player. But when you put him with defenders who are average, he's kind of not the great player.
Well, that's my point actually. I mean, I'm not surprised to see all those centre halves go, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Russell Martin go as well. I really. What has been the weakness in Norwich City this season? It has been the defence.
The announcement has been basically the ones they can announce now are definitely not getting new contracts. I wouldn't be surprised, as you say, to see another 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players go.
I mean, that's the area that needs to be built, surely. I mean, I think I tweeted early, didn't I? I said when you put one out, and I said 7 down, 7 done, 8 to go. Yeah. Because I think there's another 7 or 8 players that we are going to lose from this squad.
But I do think Ryan Bennett has suffered, since he's been at the football club, of not having a kind of a leader next to him. I think when he first came into the football club, I thought he had great potential, but I think he suffered from not having a regular partnership of a top quality centre half next to him, which he could have learnt off, and I think that's a real shame, because I think he's a talent.
I agree. It'll be fascinating to see where these guys end up. I always think that's part of the equation too, and obviously letting these guys go.
I've got my own theory on Russell Martin, haven't I? Because he's got that academy down at Brighton, hasn't he? Right, and that's where he comes from originally. Portsmouth have just been promoted up to League One.
Feels good.
What a great move!
10%.
What a great move for Russell Martin. Go down to play, give them.
I think Russell Martin will stay here in a
couple of seasons down there.
He wants to be manager here.
Yeah, because I think he'll go into a coaching capacity here. I think
he moves his way back up again.
I'm not sure some fans would necessarily want Russell Martin manager here, but that's another story. Yusuf Malumbu, real shame, and I wasn't that excited when he signed, to be honest, because I never thought he particularly shone when he played for West Brom, and he's on a lot of money. Carl Lafferty, I feel like if we didn't mention him the week he was released, then. But then we've done that now. And we touched on it, whether any of these players should play on Sunday, but I think we're going to come on to that in a bit as well. Stephen Naismith is the one thing I want to touch on as well. A bit of balance there. The Sun have said he's free to go, because Norwich would basically not... The transfer fee Norwich wouldn't get could then go to Stephen Naismith and convince him to go somewhere else, and they'd save his wage bill. But sort of since come out that actually Norwich probably wouldn't want that. And Stephen Naismith does bring something to the party.
Why are we looking to save all this money all of a sudden? Because, I mean, the thing is, who are you going to replace these players with? And if you pay peanuts, what do you get? So, you know, we're supposed to be looking to get back to the Premier League next season. So if you're going to ship out all these top-level players on these top wages, who are you actually going to replace them with?
But sometimes it doesn't work at a football club, and for me, Stephen Naismith hasn't worked. If you can get someone to buy him, give him some money.
If you can get someone
It's
to
a
buy
shame.
him.
Shame.
Yeah, I think he has. He's not inconsistent, I'd say. He has his good games, but he doesn't have them often. He reminds you of Redmond. Redmond was more inconsistent as well.
Poor Nathan.
Ooh.
Right, as always, I was with the Canaries on the road, this time to see City at Elland Road both end Leeds' playoff hopes and throw away a 3-goal lead. For a mediocre position in the table, it's really not been a mediocre season. Here are the post-match thoughts from Saturday of interim head coach Alan Irvine and goal-scoring striker Nelson Oliveira.
Right now I feel angry, I feel disappointed because we allowed them back into the game after being absolutely outstanding for 45 minutes. In the 46th minute we were unprofessional. We didn't get players back in position for their kick-off, and we paid the price. And I went mad at half-time in the dressing room when I should have been telling them how good they'd been. And quite simply, they needed to get back into position and do the job properly when we'd scored the 3rd goal.
Yes, because that goal before half-time was so crucial in the whole feeling of the ground, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I said to them. You know, I told them the importance of that goal, the importance of what it done to the crowd here who were ready to boo them off. What it done to their players going into the dressing room, and the most annoying thing, the most disappointing thing is that we were in control of how we set up from their kick-off, and we didn't set up properly.
Yes, it's a bit frustrating because we put a very good performance in the first half. We should go with 3-0 and we concede this goal. I think in the second half we don't start properly, and after is a completely different game. And with the fans their fans pushing up, it's not easy, but we should win the game.
For 45 minutes we were absolutely outstanding. It was a magnificent performance, and I should be standing here with a big smile on my face and saying about how good we've been, but I'm going to leave being very disappointed.
So here's a quick look at what happened on the penultimate championship weekend of the season. Newcastle's win and Brighton's latest defeat kept the Magpies' title hopes alive. Wigan's defeat at Reading sealed their relegation fate, while Burton and QPR both secured their survival. While Harry Redknapp's Birmingham picked up a crucial win at home to Huddersfield, who have been asked by the EFL to explain their below-strength lineup for the game. So it's between Blackburn, Nottingham Forest and Birmingham to avoid League One next season. Look at how close that is between Rovers and Forest. Rotherham and Wigan will join the losers in the 3rd tier. Ipswich and Wolves can battle it out over who finishes highest in the bottom half. And Burton will get to do it all over again next season. What a colossal effort from all those at the Brewers. It's all to play for in terms of the title then. While the playoff participants are decided, all that's up for grabs now is their order. 3rd will play Fulham and 4th will play 5th. City can only finish as high as they are now or as low as 10th, and unlike in the Premier League, their finishing position is only really worth pride this time around. So, Sunday, 12 p.m. is the final day of the Championship season. If Brighton's result at Villa matches Newcastle's at home to Barnsley, Chris Hughton's side will be champions, although you wonder if the Magpies are now favourites. Ipswich head to Forest, who need to match Blackburn's result at Brentford, and be careful of such a close goal difference too. A Blues win at Ashton Gate will confirm Harry's latest Houdini effort, while the game at Hillsborough could yet prove a playoff dress rehearsal. So, gents, what did we learn about City at Leeds, given they did so well and then threw it away?
Absolutely nothing.
Score goals and concede them.
It was, well, it's Groundhog Day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's nuts. I feel like we've seen it all this season, in truth. And just a quick one on terms of the Championship. Who's going to win the title now?
I think Newcastle. I think because Brighton's last game was quite a hard one, Aston Villa away, and Newcastle's is Barnsley. I think Newcastle will win and Brighton will slip up there.
Should be quite
Always
funny.
thought I said Newcastle right at the start of the season would win the title.
Well, I'll go for Brighton then.
Very well done. How about going down? Between Blackburn and Forest, I mean, both are playing in the Premier League.
I really don't care on
Yeah, I was
either of
gonna
them. I really don't care. The most important thing that I've seen is that Burton are not going down. I think
Amazing,
that's
isn't
absolutely
it?
brilliant.
Absolutely stunning how they've done it on what they've got. We know Sunderland will be in the Championship next year, and Sheffield United and Bolton. I mean, 3 reasonably sized clubs. Says sort of, expanding a generalisation of it.
And I think as well, sides that will reinvest as well. Big clubs that have got history that will probably want to be able to be competitive in the Championship. So yeah,
What are Sunderland going to do with the manager?
I think they're going to bin him off, to be honest. Just finally, Arsenal have finally succumbed to Spurs this season. Darren, at least we know Norwich are going to finish. Norwich are going to finish above Ipswich.
Yes, well, that's a gimme, isn't it? So
is it?
Yeah.
Are we sure about that?
that was a gimme last August, wasn't it?
I mean, they are going to have to play them twice. Are you looking forward to the derbies next year?
Yeah,
as
I
well,
think that's the
Robson?
positive of the next season in the Championship. But yeah, it'll be decent. Hopefully another 6 points. Well,
Another 6 points.
Well, that means we start with 6 points,
Yeah.
doesn't it? It's better to start with
It's all going to come back to haunt us. No, that's it. Okay, that's part one done. We're headed for a break on Mustard, and if you're watching on YouTube, you're about to get some bonus studio time. When we're all back together, we will return the show over to you as we take your calls, comments, and questions in Talk is Cheap. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you at 3. Hello!
And hello, YouTube.
YouTube! Bonus Pink and Show. We were going to come up with some planned stuff for this, but we haven't done that.
We normally talk about your beard oil.
Well, we don't want to do that
It's
again.
looking a bit dry.
I think we had a worse drop off than normal. It is looking a bit dry, as am I. Dry and tired. It's been a long season.
That's what happens when you have a young child, isn't it?
Well, there's that as well. Yes. And we don't want to talk about my children in the breaks. But there we go. Were there any things we didn't get stuck into? There must have been some things.
What about managers? I'm going to, do you know what?
Head coach.
As head coach, I'm going to sling one in here.
Have you got a name yet?
Ryan Giggs.
Ryan Giggs?
Yeah, only because I think he's a top player, and I think he'd get that instant respect from the players. It'd certainly take over with. And actually, why not give someone a go who's inexperienced? You look at Roy Keane moving into management for the first time. Took Sunderland up.
Why do you want to give someone who has no management experience other than as a second Icky? And
Yeah, but
I
I
would
feel-
agree with you that he was a tremendous player and one of the
Do
best
you know what I
players I've
think?
ever seen. And it's only because he's in the wingers flipping
No,
the
but
club.
do you know what I think it is now? I think the way that Norwich have structured their the new structure of Norwich have got, I think a manager is becoming more and more irrelevant, almost. It's about the recruitment of the players and actually getting someone who can get them playing. And I think Ryan Giggs would have the nous, would have the instant respect that we get from those players straight away. So I don't think it's that experience as a manager is not as important, I don't think, in the structure that Norwich are now putting out there.
definitely
Well, you look at Wagner's a prime example of that. Huddersfield, no management experience. And number two,
He has now.
So he has now. But that's what I'm saying. So why not give someone like Ryan Giggs a go?
Because we've sort of tried. I thought we were going to go down the proven route this time and actually get someone in who knows how to coach a team.
I don't want proven.
You don't want proven?
I don't want proven. Proven is someone who's going to want to probably work in a very different way to I think the club want to work. I think it will lead to go with someone like Ryan Giggs.
So you don't want Gary Monk?
Huh?
Gary Monk?
They're too busy talking amongst themselves. I'm being told in the gallery.
I want fresh. I want freshness.
Darren wants fresh.
I want fresh.
Dave Carolan's watching on YouTube. Hey, Dave.
Hey, Davey
Good to
boy.
see you.
What about you?
He's a Derby now.
Is he?
Yeah.
He moves about a bit.
Who else
didn't
moved? I can't
He was the
remember
first one who ever put a heart rate monitor on me.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it anything to do with football? Or?
No, he put one. There's all the new stuff coming, all the new technology. That's the first time Dave Carolyn brought it into Carrow Road.
Star.
He's
He's doing drone stuff as well. Not that I'm
Yeah.
spying on
Did
you,
they
Dave, but doing
have
drone
the
stuff.
GPS stuff when you were playing? Or was
Not so much that, no.
Are we off?
I bet you're pleased about that.
Yeah. Well, it's a really good one today. I heard about today as well. Was
Are we going?
They were talking about Ronaldo, fat Ronaldo.
See you in a minute.
Oh, yeah. We were just talking in the break, weren't we, about technology and how it's used within the game now and heart rate monitors and stuff like that. And I heard a really good one on the radio today about Ronaldo, not the Ronaldo, fat Ronaldo, old Ronaldo.
Fat Ronaldo.
How good he was, right? They had heart rate monitors and they had stats covering how much they covered in the pitch, you know. They
Don't they GPS things?
Casillas travelled further than he did in the game.
What?
In one game, and they still won 1-0 and guess who scored?
Sweeper keeper. It's the way to do it. Way to do it.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Welcome back to the Pink Show. Welcome to Talk is Cheap, where your calls, questions, comments and posts lead our Norwich City agenda. And alongside me in the studio, you may have seen them, I have the super duper troopers of Norwich City legend, Darren Eadie, Mustard Sports own Phil Arms, and City fan, Robson Summers. So, to get in touch with us here in the studio, or this very phone, simply post your comment or question in the live chat feed on the YouTube. send us a tweet including the handle @Pinkin or give us a call 01603 63 0006 and you might get to speak to producer Jake if you're lucky. Right. We've just had a phone call. We had a phone call while we were on the break. Amazing scenes. It's Rod, I believe. Rod, thank you so much for ringing in. What would you like to talk about tonight? The floor is yours.
Well, I'd like to mention to do with the transfers for a start and my opinions on about the 3 of them. For a start, Ruddy, I don't think he should have been allowed to let go. So there must be something to do with the wages on, whether he wouldn't reduce it or whatever. The second one is Ryan Bennett. I think when he came to Norwich, he was a great prospect, and somehow he lost it, which I think he should have been given another year. And the only other one I would mention which is a lot of contention about the fella, but Kyle Lafferty, before he came to Norwich, I thought he was a great player. And he came to Norwich, and as far as I'm concerned, he was never given a chance. And the other thing, if you're going to get rid of Ruddy, you must get rid of McGovern, because Ruddy is a good goalkeeper. McGovern is just a stopper. And my couple of suggestions for the manager would be Higginbottom of Barnsley, and my outside choice would be Ryan Giggs.
Rod,
Back of the net.
thank you so much for your call, Rod. Some great points there while Darren catches some sort of hornet.
I just did Mr. Miyagi
flying around. Ryan Giggs, now you mentioned Ryan. I can't remember whether it was on YouTube or in part one.
It was during the break, and I just think the way Norwich have structured how they're going to go forward, experience as a manager, I don't think is a huge need. Wagner's a proof of that at Huddersfield. Roy Keane had an opportunity to Championship and took Sunderland straight back up. So I don't think it's a massive... What you need is someone who's going to get the respect of those players and who knows the game inside out. And Ryan Giggs has got those attributes.
Has he got any coaching experience, though?
Well, he has.
He had a bit of time at United, didn't he?
Yeah.
Number 2 at United,
I just think it would be a nice...
I can't go with you on that, Darren. Okay. I couldn't go with you before, and I cannot go with the fact I've got no problems with Ryan Giggs as a person, and certainly not as a player. He's one of the best we've seen. But he just doesn't have the credentials that I want to see. And I will cite the lack of experience. I certainly agree with you that when he walks in the dressing room, every man is going to sit up and pay attention and play kudos to the guy. But I just don't feel he has the experience within the managerial field over a 46-game season, which is what we're looking at in the Championship, and in the Championship itself as well, because he's played at some...
So if they bring in someone from number 2 from a European club, as Wagner did, and are you going to give them the opportunity? Would you say I'm willing to give them the choice?
I can't, because I can't answer the question because I don't know who they are. But I'd be more than happy to see Gary Monk come in, and I'd be reasonably
That's the question I asked. You're like a politician tonight. If someone come in from the continent as a number 2, would you think, oh, this is interesting, we'll see how he goes? What's the difference between that and Ryan Giggs?
I wouldn't be that happy because I don't...
You still would be happy?
Possibly not, probably... Well, no, I won't be happy.
Okay.
Let's give you a right answer because I want to see somebody who's actually got a little bit about them that's done the job. I want a little bit of something there underneath as well.
Phil's demands, I love it. Phil's demands. Just very quickly on the YouTube, Lewis Moffat, great to see those players go and free up some money to spend. Spend it on keeping Dykes at the club and build a team around him and Oliveira. And also Austin Gamer Kid AG. Pritchard, Oliveira, Pinto and Howson should be the players we make the team around next season.
You've become such a dad,
Austin,
the way you read that.
Gamer Kid AG. We have our next caller on the phone, which is Jimmy, I think. Jimmy, I've got your number up on the screen as well. We won't flash that up. Don't worry. 07. Jimmy, thanks for ringing in. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, I'd just really like to say that I think it's nice for the club actually to let the fans know what's going on with the 7 players that have been released. I know I've certainly been a bit critical of them lately for not letting us know about the situation. And I think it's quite good. We can give some of the players a bit of a good send-off, which they do deserve, although I think it is the right time for them to go. So I'm quite happy, to be honest.
Yeah, this is a really good point, Jimmy. Thanks for making it. We'll come back to you in a moment. The fact that they have given the fans the chance to acknowledge it. I always remember Darren Huckabee's goodbye, where there was lots of Glen Roeder issues in that, but it got mentioned and he never got the chance to say goodbye. And, you know, John Reddy has been here a long time, especially. I'm kind of focusing on him because I think he's the one that fans will probably be most keen to say goodbye to.
Yeah, I'd say he's the one that the fans will miss the most because he's been a major part of our promotions over the past few seasons and our relegations. But I think the club have done it correctly this year, announcing it before the season ended so they get to say their goodbyes. But I also think there will be loads more departures whose contracts don't run out this year, but they will be sold this year. So I think players like Russell Martin may be on their way out as well.
Make the most of the letter of appreciation.
I don't believe the football club's done it so they can give them a good farewell. I think it's just what they want to do. It's just the news.
You think?
Yeah,
because they
there's a
could
new
have
man
just
coming
done
in.
it. They could have just done it on the Monday.
New man coming in. I think he's just making a clean sweep for what he wants to do when he wants to do it. I don't think there's any sentiment in it. Because otherwise, was that just for John Ruddy, or are you going to bring out Malumbu, Lafferty, Bassong? You're going to bring them all out for a little wave at the end?
What sort of mindset? You're an ex-player at that level. What sort of mindset is John Ruddy going to have if he's picked to go between the sticks? I mean, obviously on a professional and personal thing, he's going to want to play a good game. But what's he going to be feeling? How's that going to affect him mentally?
It'd be quite emotional, I would think.
Yeah.
And he'll want to put performance in. I've no doubt of that at all. Yeah, I think he's the right thing.
I think, it's a chance to have a say goodbye, which I think will be a big enough.
If we get a penalty, we should let him take it.
Yes. Take the penalty. Jimmy, back to you. Thank you for holding on. Head coach is the one I want to know. Who would you like as Norwich's head coach next season?
Brian Giggs.
I'd say Gary Monk would be my first choice. I know some of the names have been going around. I think Rosler and people like that. I think Monk's got a bit of a better record in the Championship, certainly this year. And I think it's going to be somebody like him or Wagner or that sort of style of manager. And he'd be the top of my list.
Brilliant stuff, Jimmy. Thank you so much for
What
your
a
call.
burn. I like that, Jimmy.
Yeah, but he said Wagner as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love
I'm
it.
happy with Wagner,
I would
actually.
love it to be David Wagner, but we're going to probably have to keep an eye on what Huddersfield do in the playoffs.
And do you remember the press conference when Stuart Webber was appointed? He was asked that question directly, wasn't he? Will David Wagner be following you? And he only gave one word. He went, no.
Yes. I asked him it twice.
Yeah.
Is there agreement in place?
I don't believe he would. I honestly don't either. I think he wants, again, it's moving on. I think what Webber's about is about actually the fresh, the new, all the time, recruitment, new players, new managers.
We should touch on the fact that there were a couple of rumoured appointments. I don't think they've been confirmed by the club yet, but in terms of the scouting, I hope I've got these names right. Kieran Scott is going to be the head of UK recruitment, and Chris Badlan is going to be the head of European scouting.
That's gone well recently, isn't it, over the years?
I mean, it's interesting how they've done it. They've given us... Well, you know...
No, but I think it's right. I think it's an area that certainly need improvement. But the one thing that's really important for me, which they are focusing on, is actually the youth within the club. Players like Glenn Middleton should hopefully get some kind of opportunity. And Cantwell, all these younger players, Toffler, are going to get these opportunities now, and I think that's fantastic because there's some real talent at this football club and youngsters. It's just about that right manager giving them the opportunity to play. One
of the interesting things about those appointments, though, he's gone back to Wolverhampton, hasn't he? He knows these guys from before, doesn't he? Which, I mean, from his career and his time at Wolves, he obviously had a relationship with them, so he's got a working relationship with these guys before he even brings them in.
And actually, it is an interesting one because Wolves haven't really pulled up any trees, have they?
No.
So is that looking after his mates? Or is
we'll find out, because if it's a success, it'll be the right decision,
Yeah,
won't
of
it?
course.
So that'll be the big thing. Nelson Oliveira, though, I think we'll touch on him in a bit. We lamented their recruitment. They've actually got a pretty decent striker, 25 years old, who's hit double figures this season and could flourish next year if he
I think this season he's done really well, considering injury problems and appearances he hasn't made. He's been overlooked with Jerome. But I think next season he'll be the #1 striker. I think he'll hit double figures again. And hopefully he will score and push us into the playoffs or even win the league next year.
I'll ask you about Jerome in a moment then, shall I? We've got the Gaming Madness on the YouTube. He says,
You're such a dad!
I'm gutted Ruddy has gone. Do you think they're trying to save up for Mitchell Dykes?
No. Well, they'd love to, but I can't see him being here next season.
No. Can't put all your eggs in the Mitchell Dykes basket, I suppose. Do we have a phone? We have a caller on the line, don't we? And it's George Wilson. George, thank you so much for ringing in. The floor is yours. Take it away.
Thanks, Michael. It's good to speak to you. On light of the released players yesterday, I was really disappointed to see Ruddy leaving. Obviously, he's a fan's favourite and he's clearly so passionate about the club. And obviously he hasn't had a great season, making a few mistakes at Sheffield Wednesday, for example. But there's been games where we've seen that he has still got it, like the game at home to Newcastle, where he made some brilliant saves to keep us in the game. And we've seen all year that really he's a much better keeper than Michael McGovern. So I just think we should have kept hold of him.
George, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because there's a balancing act here. All the fans are going to want a promotion push again next season, and they also want a massive renewal of the squad. And are you a little bit worried that they might, change too much so that actually the quality of the squad isn't going to be what it needs to be next season?
To be honest, I think that the squad is in need of a refresh. I think that obviously Webber has come in with the look on to change things up and be ready for the new manager. But like you say, if we change it too much, it might take a while for the squad to settle, and then we might struggle at the start of the season, and we don't want to lose points easily. So.
Stuff, George. Thank you so much for your call.
There's still a lot of quality in that squad, though. That's the thing. And even though you're seeing these players leave, you still got the likes of Wes Houlihan. I know he'll be another year older. Pritchard. There's still some real talent in this side. Oliveira, Cameron Jerome, all these people can score goals. There is still quality there.
It's a really good point he made, though, and I think Nelson Oliveira kind of touched on it. It took Nelson probably 2 or 3 months to really get involved because he joined basically right at the end of the window. And if Norwich want to rebuild this squad and make it a success when the season starts, they've got to do as much of this business as early on as possible because they're going to need the time to get them acclimatised.
And the other thing is, if you're having such a churn on players, are we looking at 1 transfer window or over 2 transfer windows? Are we looking at a 12-month or even an 18-month turnover to get the squad and everybody up to speed to a level where they can challenge for promotion and or Premier League stability? What's the actual length of time that the goal is being, or the aim is being?
I asked that question before the fans in terms of what is their expectations for next season? How long do they think this process is going to take? Are they willing to sit around in the Championship for 2 or 3 seasons to get it right, or do they want promotion again next season? I think the general consensus is they want to push next season, and I think the club knows that, and I think Webber knows that, and expects that of what the quality of that's in the squad already.
And it's an interesting point because Norwich have got 1 parachute payment left. They've effectively got 1 season shot at it because if people think that they need to save some money this season, it's going to be completely different if they don't go up next season.
I think they have to push next season because once you stay down for a few seasons in the Championship, it's going to be very hard to get back out of it. And I think staying down this season is stupid in my opinion. We should have invested more in the summer into better players, but we have to get it right this year.
Do you feel? I mean, Alec Neil said it himself. He didn't refresh the squad enough in the summer, which is really difficult because he wanted to invest in the experience.
In fact, I mean, I know I had a conversation with him where he told me that last summer he wanted to move 6 or 7 out, and he couldn't because of contracts and bits and pieces, and some wouldn't go and some couldn't go.
How much did he spend in the summer, though?
Well, this is it. And in January.
But he wanted to move 6 or 7 players.
Yeah, but if you couldn't move them, but you still spent the amount of money he spent, he should have still been able to bring in the players he wanted of a youthful feel about it for the push. And that's where he got it wrong.
That's exactly it. It's a good one here from MWLKA. I mean, that's not a word. He says, bring back the yellow nets. Discuss. Well, yes.
Love them.
I don't understand why they don't do it. Bring back the yellow nets. Or, yellow and green stripes. We had those at one point, didn't we? There we go. Right, we've got Stuart Lewis on the phone, I believe. Stuart, thanks for ringing. Now, for those who don't know, Stuart is a writer for My Football Writer who did interviews with Stuart Webber and Managing Director Steve Stone over the last week or so. Lovely to speak to you, Stuart. Thanks for coming on. Tell us your experiences of speaking to those 2 gentlemen.
It's hard to talk to them and not come out feeling more optimistic. They're 2 guys who are really purposeful. They're in jobs now which are the best use of their talents, and they really have a sense of purpose about Norwich. They know what needs to be done, and they're ready to fix it. So, impressive people, and they're the first to say the proof of the pudding's in the eating. It's all about delivery. But, for so much of this season, it's felt like our club was on the wrong track, and you talk to those 2 and you kind of feel we're on the right track now.
That's a great starting point, of course. And we were just talking about the expectation for next season, the pressure to deliver with 1 more parachute payment compared to the literal logistics of turning around a squad and making it happen so quickly. From speaking to Stuart, I suppose especially, what do you make of his thoughts on that?
One of the things I raised with him was, it's conventional wisdom that you can't make too many changes in 1 transfer window. If you bring in too many players, it's hard to make them gel and so on. And he absolutely pushed back on that. He said, in his view, that was a myth, that if you get the players in early enough, you have the right head coach with a clear sense of how he wants them to play. So you can give the players clear instructions. It's not a problem. So, I got the impression he's not afraid of bringing in a lot of players this summer.
In it, Huddersfield.
Yeah, that's exactly my point I was going to make. It's the type of player you bring in, and that's where your recruitment and your scouting does its job, because you make sure you get players that have a point to prove or have got something to prove. Your loanees, probably loanees. They've made a couple of great loanee signings.
So they had 5 in total.
Yeah,
and
it's about them wanting to improve their careers and take up another step, whether it's with Huddersfield or whether it's someone else. But again, every loanee that we seem to have gotten in the past has either come from like a Liverpool or an Arsenal. They're going to go back to Liverpool or Arsenal, so that, they're not that bothered.
I guess Norwich have been
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane, oh gosh. I mean, Norwich have been a bit scarred, haven't they, in loans? That's
Kieran
the reality
Gibbs.
of it. Kieran Gibbs, some good players.
Yeah.
Good players, just a bit too early, I suppose, in their careers. Stuart Webber can certainly talk, can't he? I imagine, I know, quite fun to interview.
He is fun to interview. He's straight talking. He doesn't rant and rave, but you just get such a sense of energy and sense of purpose. It's a big job, and he's just itching to get stuck into it.
And there's a different side of the equation with Steve Stone, of course, because he is having to manage what is going to be a pretty tricky financial situation at the club. What did you sense from him?
I think he has been, till recently, pretty frustrated. He's someone who likes to plan short-term, long-term, have different scenarios for depending on which division we're in. And he's seen now thinking get more and more short-term, and I just get the sense he's relieved that they're stepping back from that he's allowed to plan long-term. The other interesting thing is, clearly from both of them, the relationship between them is important, and these are two guys absolutely on the same wavelength. They like each other, they get on, they can clearly talk directly to each other, and that has to be a good thing.
All bodes very well. Stuart, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and speak to us. Having spoken to the guys, there's a lot riding on these two, isn't there? Stuart Webber and Steve Stone.
It kind of feels right, though. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It feels like this. It has been stagnant at Norwich for so many years, and I think this fresh approach is certainly a positive. However, I mean, it's a flip of a coin, essentially. We don't know how it's going to turn out, but it's certainly, I think, given us the impetus into next season, it feels right, it feels fresh, it feels new, which is something we haven't had for a long time.
But there's an interesting point here. I got a post from Simon Clark. I'm being reliably informed it's called YouTube, apparently. Bring youngsters through and sell them off. It's the only way a middle-sized club like Norwich can survive and thrive. Would also get the fans more behind the players.
But and in the current market as well now, the prices that the young players are going for.
So what do we do with the Murphys?
Yeah.
I tell you, if someone comes in for big money, you sell them.
Yeah, I would
Without
go
a
with
shadow of a
that.
doubt. A shadow of a doubt.
That's interesting. And I mean, Stuart Webber did bring up what happened to Jacob Murphy as well, didn't he? A few games ago, where he kind of got jeered for his shot that sliced out, which I didn't really like. But he was sort of talking about protecting Jacob, whereas Jacob dealt really well with that situation.
He scored, didn't he?
He did score, and he kind of brushed it off. But it's just kind of been indicative of the atmosphere, hasn't it, at Carrow Road this season, Robson?
Oh, the atmosphere at Carrow Road has just been dreadful, if I'm honest. But when they boo the players, it just frustrates me, because they need the fans on their support. And if you don't have that, the players aren't going to be working as hard as they can. And with the fans singing your names, it boosts your confidence, and you become a better player due to the fans.
Dare I say it, though, if Jacob and Josh go on to bigger and better things in Norwich City, they're going to get a lot worse than Jacob's got this season. So it's a learning curve, and it's sort of something you've got to learn as being a player. I know, I didn't say it.
What?
I
Bigger
didn't
and better
say it.
than
I
Norwich?
didn't say it.
What?
The mean one.
Nonsensical sentence. I don't even know what you're talking about. MWLKA is back. He says, Webber knows what he's doing. Mass clear out and recruitment for Huddersfield worked. Total agreement in the decisions he's made up until now. Lovely stuff. We've got Dave Powell on the phone. Dave, thanks so much for ringing in. Now, you had an adventure on Sunday, didn't you? Would you like to tell us about it?
Yeah, it was. Hiya, everybody. Yeah, it was a good day out. Unfortunately, the result didn't go in our favour. I did do some reports, which hopefully you have got some pictures of and footage. It was an awesome day out, really, for the under-23s.
Dave, I'm going to disappoint you, David. It was brilliant work, but I can't get it off my Twitter. So we're not going to see it. But, I'll share it somehow. I haven't figured out how. But this was, of course, the under-23s Premier League Cup semi-final at Reading. And, I mean, was it sort of a one-off to go and see this semi-final? Have you been following the under-23s all season? And have you enjoyed watching them?
The only game I haven't been to. That's the first away game for the under-23s. I refused to go to the track or trade for league reasons, I suppose. But I've watched all the under-23s at home, bar the track or trade.
And what have you made? Because, as I said, we're going to have a lot invested in youth over the coming seasons. What have you made of them? Are there some players there that could really step up next season, for example?
Yeah, I think Crow is done a really good job this year. I think the only one that I think that perhaps hasn't produced is I forgot his name now. That's a bit embarrassing. The Grant, Ray Grant. I think Ray Grant. I would have thought he'd have pushed on a little bit, but he hasn't. But there's a few good players. Afiti, to me, should really be getting in that first team now. Now we're getting rid of some back four players. I'd say he's got a chance of pushing through the door.
That's really interesting. I keep putting you on the spot, David, as I did it last week as well. Thanks so much for your call. That's great. So, I mean, it's interesting, and they're going to need to kind of push on some of these players if they are going to have a first-team future.
Well, what sort of ages? I mean, you say under 23. Now, good players surely are making it through the doors at 2021.
Well, you know, that's my point. I mean, for me, under 20 is an absolute waste of time. Absolute waste of time. They should have an under-18s, a reserve team football again, where you learn the experience of playing with older pros alongside you. I know they've done that a little bit, but it's honestly, I've been to see a few of those games. It's like training sessions. It's just a waste of time.
Is the pace not up to it and the sort of intensity?
Yeah, you reserve team football, you'd have pros that have been dropped that want to get back into the team, young lads coming through that want to prove themselves so they can get into the first team. So it's a real good mix of youth and experience. And under 23 just don't
Can I ask Robson, do you go and watch under 23 matches? Would you go and watch reserve football as it used to be, like Darren is suggesting, above an under 23 type setup? Would you think that would be better for the progression of our players?
I would say yes, because with the reserve football, isn't as big as you made out by Norwich, if you know what I mean. But with reserve football, you aren't put on the spot. With under 23s, you're known for the next step up is the first team. Reserve football is something that helps the players gain experience as well as shows the first team what they can actually do. With the under 23s, you're just put on the.
It's almost like a sideshow.
You're playing against your peers at the end of the day, all the lads you've gone through the system with. So it's just there's no instant progression where you learn that next step, from my opinion.
Exactly, and loans will be the way that they can maybe instigate that and rely less on them. But they still need an under 23s team. Thank you so much, David, for your call, and all our callers. Now, a quick plug. We are at Archant Towers. I tell you what, we'll do this plug after the break, shall we? Thank you to all our callers and tweeters tonight. We really appreciate it. If you want to get in touch with us on our last show next week, you can send us an email to sports@mustardtv.co.uk. And if you want to see all this again, you can catch every piece of our Norwich City content over on our Norfolk Now YouTube channel. And that's it for part 2 of the Pink and Show. We're headed into another break, but if you're watching on YouTube, stay. You'll get some bonus studio time. When we return, it's the final Fallon de Floor contenders of the season, plus a look ahead to QPR. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, YouTube.
Hello!
Yeah, we're back again.
I shouted.
Ryan Giggs.
On the YouTube. We're on the YouTube.
I spend my whole life telling my children to stay off YouTube.
The phone number does work. We had some lovely calls there, didn't we?
We did. It's
People
nice.
ringing in and everything. It's great.
Interaction.
brilliant.
We'd level that.
Lots of people rang in. Not everyone got the chance to have their say, apparently.
We'll have to
There
ring
were
in
queues.
We'll have to ring in next week.
Ring in next week. Same time, same place.
Can we have an hour and a half?
I'm getting talked at. What? In case you missed it, YouTubers, here's something we started talking. Thanks, Kiernan. He's giving me the link, but I've forgotten what he said. This was the plug I was going to get in earlier. We are opening our doors at Archant Towers, basically upstairs, for a special Pink and Live show, debating the good, the bad, and the downright ugly of the 2016-17 season. Apparently, we're going to do it in 90 minutes. Good luck. Looking ahead to a new campaign under a new system at Carrow Road. I will be chairing the night. Darren will be alongside me. He's nodding. Will be alongside me, plus my esteemed colleague, Eastern Daily Press Chief City writer Paddy Davitt, and popular columnist Melissa Rudd will also be on stage. And you never know, we may have more join them. We don't know yet. There are just 50 places available for supporters to join us on the evening of Thursday, May the 11th, and it's free, I think. So if you want to come along, then all you need to do is send your name, address, and contact number in an email to norfolksport@archant.co.uk, and I will reread this entire plug out in part 3. That's as much for the gallery's benefit as for you on the YouTube. There we go. That'll be a good night, won't it?
You say 90 minutes. The good isn't going to take too long, is it? So you've got the bad and the
Well, come
ugly.
on. Well, there was a bit on the long come Norwich which I didn't get to read, but I know it's accentuating some of the positives for this season. So all give me a positive for this season.
Oliveira.
Oh, you nicked Robson's. You nicked Robson's.
I need a little bit of time to think.
All right.
Yes.
All right,
Pritchard.
Alex Pritchard, yeah.
Pritchard.
There you go.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he's.
Mitchell Dykes.
I think the prime example of Pritchard's a prime example of someone I think who kind of the manager didn't give him the opportunity he should have. And actually, Oliveira when he first come in, Alex Neil was very kind of slow in letting his signings
fly on.
He was very kind of slow in getting his new signings into the squad, which was very odd for me. He was paying big money for them, yet they were never involved in the team until they were kind of felt they were up to speed. But just chuck them in, big signings, get them in the game.
Yeah, but if you go back to the days of Bill Shankly at Liverpool, that's exactly what he did. He brought them in, he made them play in the reserves, he brought them in as a substitute, and then he put them into the first 11. Didn't do Liverpool any harm in those days, did it?
Yeah, but times changed.
It's funny how excited the gallery get
Where's
when
my
someone
head?
rings the gallery. They're getting very excited about people ringing the gallery. We didn't get through our tweets either, so I don't know what they were,
Read some out,
about. But I can't. It just says, The Fine City, Ruddy. Aaron Myhill, Ruddy. Luke Moore, Jarvis and Closer next. Lewis, who is next? Lafferty for Player of the Month. Oh dear. Ian Angus Gunn, question mark. Brandon Jarvis and Bats doesn't want Jarvis to leave. Matt Jarvis.
I forgot about him.
He's injury prone though.
We're off.
See ya.
Bye.
Was that? Oh!
So
Whoa.
loud, we wanted to listen to it 3 times.
3 times. 3 times the show. This is. Welcome to the final part of tonight's Pink and Show, with me, with Darren Eadie, with Phil Arms, and with Robson Summers. There they all are. So, this is it. Only one more team has a chance to shake up the Fall on the Floor leaderboard, and only one more opportunity for producer Jake to audition as Kasper Schmeichel's replacement come the Danes' inevitable summer exit from the Foxes.
Hello, welcome to the Pink and Show's Fall on the Floor challenge, where for the final time, this is the last ever Fall on the Floor. We're at the Road to Pro Academy here in Lowestoft. Ex-Norwich City player Danny Crowe. You saw Mickey Spillane's group last week go. Scored 3 in 150. 150 something, decent time. So the winners, top 2, are going to go into a playoff and have a big competition to see who wins this year's Fall on the Floor challenge. So you've got the final chance to do it.
Okay.
What do you reckon about this 5 you've got here? Can they do it?
I'm very, very confident in them.
Yeah?
They're all very good mates, all went to school together. It means a lot to them, look at them. It means so much to them. They're
Let's
so
have a look at them, shall we? Who's in first?
Okay, we're going to have Kane. Kane's going to win first. He's a centre half. Very proud of him.
Very proud of him. And next? Where are you going?
Carl Haylock, he is a centre half, but he played up front Tuesday. He didn't do very well, but we'll let that go.
So back to centre half next week.
Back to centre half. Aussie Cook, what a guy. Silly headband on, but he looks cool, doesn't he?
I think he looks cool.
Really cool. Cam Russell, centre forward, top goal scorer this year. What a player. He will not miss. Guaranteed a goal there.
Right, you heard that. And last?
Ryan Reynolds, love him. Right back. He'll be centre mid next year, isn't you?
Ryan, how does it feel to know you're the last ever person to take a penalty in the Fall on the Floor challenge? Emotional?
Yeah, but I'm just going to bang it top bins anyway. So
Just going to bang it top bins. So for the last ever time, let's go. And that is the perfect way to end the Foul on the Floor challenge. They scored 0 in 2 minutes.
Clean sheet, mate. Clean
sheet for me, which has been coming. But it does mean that we do end the year as Team Mustard, bottom of the Foul on the Floor leaderboard. Danny, you proud of the lads?
Oh yeah, proud of them, but unlucky out there. Unlucky.
Yeah.
It was a good time. It was a good time, yeah.
No, but thanks, boys, for letting us come down, and we'll think of another challenge. We'll come down next season. We can try and do a little bit better, yeah?
What, me or them?
Them.
Yeah,
You're
right.
right.
Oh, do it, then. Do it.
Right, we're not coming back next year now. That's it. Is he all right?
I think that's why he does it, just to, pile on.
There's
at
a
the
lot
end.
more replays in there than usual, weren't there? Because he actually
Yeah.
saved something.
He did well. It'd been coming,
Jake,
apparently.
yeah.
The clean sheet had been coming. Let's have a look at the final Foul on the Floor leaderboard, shall we? Here we go. We just saw the top of the briefly. We're going to focus on the bottom. I thought as much. Road to Pro, a little bit quicker than Team Mustard. We finished bottom, but there we go. But if we have a look at the top, if we can stick it, I think it's Norwich Seams. Our top, here we go. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Norwich Seams reserves top. Well done, Norwich Seams. Round of applause. Only for me, gents. Come on, come on.
I'm just looking at Langley Football Academy.
Yeah, Darren's not joining
Finished
in with
third.
that. Finished third.
Take third.
And Akel with your lad?
Yeah, he did. He
Second?
scored as well. Yeah, he scored. Yeah, see.
Not bad, eh? Not bad. Well, a big thank you to every team that got involved with the Foul on the Floor Challenge over the entire season. We apologise if we couldn't fit you in. Discussions are already at an advanced stage over what we can send Jake to fail miserably at come next season. So watch this space. And if you already want to register your interest, simply email your details to sport@mustardtv.co.uk and we will take care of the rest. Now, a wee plug. We are opening our doors at Archant Towers for a special Pink and Live show.
Oh,
debate. Yes.
Didn't know that.
You didn't know that. YouTubers
You
might
weren't
know
watching
that.
YouTube.
It will be to discuss the good, the bad and the downright ugly of the 2016-17 season and looking ahead to a new campaign under a new system at Carrow Road. I will be chairing the night. Darren will be alongside me. It's the first you've heard of it. Plus, my esteemed colleague, Eastern Daily Press Chief, City writer Paddy Davitt, and popular columnist Melissa Rudd will be on stage. You never know, we may have more join them too. There are just 50 places available for supporters to join us, and quite a few of those have gone already, for the evening. That is on a Thursday, May the 11th. If you want to come along, I believe it's free. You can send your, don't quote me, your name, address and contact number in an email to norfolksport@archant.co.uk. Easy for me to say, just about, you know how it works. So, it's here already, the final game of the season. It wasn't supposed to be like this, of course, but then there's always someone worse off.
Lately the joy of life has been easy to find, 'cause it's right by my side. Taking the form of a girl that I've known for 8 years and 64 days now. And I know I was only 16 years old, but I couldn't make sense of the world. Until she moved next door, said, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Yours is the prettiest thing that I've ever seen. Whoa, replaces the sun with the moon and procures a perfect dream. We say goodbye to sadness when we kiss each other goodnight. As promise rings a Polaroid, an afternoon's day, an afternoon's day, an afternoon's delight.
I remember a QPR fan talking to me after that 2-1 defeat saying, QPR will finish in the playoffs, you mark my words. So I won that bet, that's good. And I guess they do serve a little bit of a warning to Norwich City. Keep an eye on Thursday's Mustard News and Friday Sports Extra for all the top lines from City's pre-match press conference. You'll also be able to catch them on our YouTube channel. And of course, we will be at Carrow Road on Sunday for our final Pink and Match day of the season. So if you see our cameras, come and say hello. The show will go out on Sunday from 7 p.m. with the highlights also on YouTube. Gents, who have you picked for the final game of the season? Have you gone selection crazy? Robson, we've got your 11 first. Shall we have a look at it? Let's have a look. Well, that's... Oh, Malumbu's in there. Look at this, Madison. Go for it. Talk us through it, Robson.
I just want to put Ruddy in there just because it's his last game.
He'll get to say
give him
goodbye.
a farewell. Gone with Bennett. This last game as well. Give him a farewells because we've basically got nothing to play for.
Malumbu?
Same about Malumbu as well, yeah.
So there's 3 players you like who are leaving, and the other 4
I
you
like
don't
them 3
care too
players.
much
But Maddison, I think just give him a chance, give him a start for the game, give him some minutes. Jacob Murphy, yeah, it's been
Over
superb.
Josh still, because Josh has done quite well recent games.
Oh, I still prefer Jacob Murphy.
Fair enough.
Josh.
Phil, let's have a look at your 11. Have you gone selection crazy?
I have a little bit, yeah, because
Ben Godfrey and in midfield.
Basically, I want Pinto and Dykes a little bit further forward than that. I've decided we haven't got a defence. We ship goals anyway, so let's just go forward and let's score a load of goals and enjoy ourselves.
Where's the
on last-
midfield, Phil?
Exactly. We're just going to go for it.
Lug it and hope.
I've put Howson and Ben Godfrey in there just to provide a little bit of stability. But basically, I just want to go and score some goals, have a fine time on the last day of the season, enjoy myself.
8-9.
I'd play the 7 that are being released.
Well, just 7. 7.
Yeah,
We'll take you on with
just the
7. See how it goes. What a great. That'd be a great story.
Great,
We'd love
yeah.
that.
I tell you what, it was a prime example of how it can go wrong is QPR as well. So just be mindful of that, I think.
It can unravel very quickly, especially when you're trying to rebuild. Predictions time then. The final game of the season. Where are Norwich going to finish, Phil? But no, let us.
10th.
That's the spirit. Give us a score.
Now, well, you've seen my lineup, so I'm going to win 7-4.
7-4.
Comfortable 3-0 win.
Oh, you're not on the fence, Robson.
2-1 Norwich.
2-1 Norwich. I think it will be 10-2. Record
Could be any of those.
Score. We are done for
10 to
tonight.
2,
If you missed any of the show, don't worry, it's all waiting for you on YouTube, as well as being repeated regularly over the coming days on Mustard. We are back live next week for the final time this season. For now, a big thank you to Darren Eadie, Phil Arms and Robson Summers here in the studio, as well as to all our callers, commenters, tweeters, and of course a big thank you to your good selves for watching. This has been The Pinken Show. Until next time, here's to Norwich City sending the season off in something better than fitting style. Good night.